Clean this floor properly, you useless girl. That was the first thing I heard when I stepped into my parents' house in Dallas. Then laughter broke out. Not mine, not a stranger's, but my brother's daughters. They were sprawled on the couch, giggling and pointing at my little girl, just 7 years old, trembling as she struggled with a mop taller than herself. My name is Maya. Wherever you are, stay and hear me out. Have you ever walked back into the house that raised you, only to see them crush your child's spirit right before your eyes? I'd driven nearly 5 hours from Houston, unannounced, guided only by a mother's gut feeling. And there she was, my obedient, tiny, frightened girl, being yelled at, while my brother sat there, legs crossed, eyes glued to his phone, not caring at all. Can't even sweep properly, my father muttered from the doorway. Not like Jonah's daughters, they know how to behave, my mother added. Jonah, the eldest, always praised for being successful, handsome, with twin girls like porcelain dolls and a picture-perfect Instagram feed. My parents always favored him, but I never thought they'd use my daughter to parade that favoritism. I didn't yell. I just walked straight to the kitchen, watching my little girl clean the floor in fear, too scared to look up. I said softly, "That's enough." The room froze. My mother forced a smile. "Oh, you're home. We were just teaching her." "Teaching?" I repeated. "Teaching her how, by making her scrub floors while the others laugh." My father waved it off. "Don't overreact. Kids need strict discipline." I didn't argue. I went outside, got in my car, and called the loan manager I'd been working with for years. They had forgotten that since my father retired, I was the one quietly paying off the mortgage to keep this house. Within 3 days, I stopped all payments, let the renewal expire, and let the foreclosure notice land right in their mailbox. The house they used as a throne to force my child to bow. Now it was about to hit the auction block. I didn't look back. First, they didn't notice. They strutted around like royalty, still ordering my daughter to clean, pouring orange juice for Jonah's kids while mine drank tap water from a chipped mug. They didn't realize that throne had been rotting for years, and I was done polishing it. 3 days later, my mother called. "Maya, did you get the notice? There must be some mistake with the bank." Smiled. "No mistake, Mom. I stopped paying." She went silent. I could hear her fear seeping through the line. Then her voice softened. "But honey, family should stick together. Family doesn't treat my child like a servant." Cut her off. She stammered something, but I hung up. For the first time ever, I didn't bother explaining myself to people who only valued what I gave, not who I was. Then Jonah called. "Maya, you can't do this. Mom and Dad will be devastated. The kids love that house." I exhaled. "Did you care when Mom and Dad called my daughter worthless in front of yours?" "Oh, come on, they were just joking," he snapped. "No, your kids get to joke. Mine has to serve." Hung up. No more bargaining, no more bowing. The only thing left to do was protect my child, starting with tearing down those rotten walls. A week later, the auction notice was nailed to the front door. I didn't go back to see it. I just bent down in our new small house, cupped my girl's face and said, "From now on, you don't have to hold your breath to be loved anymore." They taught her fear to keep order. I taught her that she could never be erased from my love. When the house hit the market, the whole family erupted, calling me cruel, telling me to remember blood ties. But when they watched her scrub floors, no one felt guilty. So now I don't either. I considered the debt paid. Not just the money, but the silent debt that weighed down an innocent child. A few days later, my father called. "Maya, please. The bank says it's almost final. Give us 1 more month." I asked quietly, "Do you remember what you called her that day?" Silence. "Do you remember her face?" Still silent. Then there's nothing left to say. Hung up. Some things can't be patched up, only buried so something new can grow. Now my daughter is growing up in peace, humming songs in our little kitchen, our own home where no one yells over an unwashed cup. I didn't just stop paying. I stopped letting the past hold my life hostage. The auction happened quietly, neatly, and was done. I didn't drive by, Because the moment I ended that payment, I had already walked away, not just in miles but in my mind. Everything that house stood for, control, favoritism, emotional violence neatly disguised as discipline, fell with its walls. Clara was the only one who showed up at the courthouse steps, not to bid but to beg. She couldn't afford to save it, so she cried into her phone to the new owner. "It's our family home," she pleaded. But the man wasn't family. He was an investor. He didn't care about their memories, only the profit margin. And to him the numbers made sense. Just like that, the house was gone. That night Aunt Mel called. "Maya, you didn't have to go this far." I told her, "You're right. I should have gone further years ago. Because the truth is, that house didn't raise me. I raised myself in its shadows. I raised my daughter in its cracks. And now I was raising hell by refusing to stay silent another minute." Back at our own little home, peace had a sound, my daughter humming as she drew at the kitchen table, our laughter together, never at her, bedtime without anxiety, freedom. And I saw it clear as day. The moment I handed her the smallest gift, safety, she bloomed in ways none of them ever imagined she could. That week, we planted a real garden, in real soil, under honest sunlight. It was our promise to each other. Only nurture what nurtures you back. For every brick they laid with shame, I laid a new one with love. Because some houses are inherited, but the real ones, the true ones, are built. And this one was finally ours. 3 weeks after the auction, the messages turned vicious. "Maya, you're heartless. Dad's blood pressure is up, Mom's depressed. You destroyed them. Family doesn't evict family. They took care of you your whole life. Took care of me." Did they mean the years I was forced to clean up after everyone while Clara got to rest? The birthdays where my name was scribbled on a plain card while hers was spelled out in sparklers? Their care looked an awful lot like labor. I didn't reply. Because when you've spent a lifetime being the afterthought, you owe the spotlight nothing in return. Then came the message I dreaded and expected. From my mother. Just 2 lines. "She's not one of us. That girl of yours. Maybe she takes after her father." That girl. My daughter. The one who made me get well cards when I was sick. The one who scrubbed floors just to feel included. The one they mocked, cornered and crushed. Even after losing the house, they hadn't learned a thing. They thought guilt would drag me back to patch up what I'd torn down. What they never understood was that the day I walked in and saw them yelling at my gentle little girl, something inside me turned to steel. So I answered just once. "You lost the house. You lost the money. And now you've lost the last key to my life, and hers. We're done. This door isn't locked. It's gone. Locked. Every number, every email, every ghost of who you pretended to be. Goodbye." They didn't come to her birthday. Not with fake apologies. Not with wrapped-up lessons disguised as gifts. And for the first time, my daughter didn't even ask where they were. She just smiled, wide, real, free, and blew out her candles in a house full of love, not judgment. She opened presents wrapped in kindness, not conditions. We invited her real family. Our neighbors, her favorite teacher, my best friend from college. People who never made her feel small. When I tucked her in that night, she whispered, "Mom, this was the best birthday ever." No one yelled. I kissed her forehead, held her just a little longer than usual, and thought, this is what a home should feel like. Not a place that turns children into servants. Not a table where laughter is a weapon. Not a living room full of fake smiles and hidden cruelty. Just safety, softness, and belonging. Meanwhile, back in their world, Clara was couch surfing again. My parents squeezed into a small apartment on the edge of town. Their perfect family myth didn't hold up once people looked close. When a house is built on favoritism and silence, its collapse is loud and final. One cousin messaged me privately, "Maya, I saw what they did to you and her. I wish I'd spoken up." I thanked her truly but told her, "We're not looking back anymore." Because here's the truth. Some families aren't lost to tragedy. They're peeled away by truth, layer by layer, until you stand in the light and realize you were never the broken one. You were the witness. the survivor. The seed they tried to bury, not knowing you were a storm. And now, I'm not just living, I'm leading. My daughter sleeps safe every night. I sit outside with a glass of wine, feeling the breeze on my skin, finally breathing a life where I never have to apologize for choosing her over all of them. 2 months later, they tried to rewrite the story. They told everyone I'd overreacted, that I'd lost my mind, that I'd stolen their house out of spite. Clara told whoever would listen that I was unstable, that the bank tricked me, that I ruined everything because I was jealous. Jealous of what? Being screamed at. Watching my child be called useless while theirs lounged like princesses. They never explained why I stopped paying. They left out the humiliation, the cruelty, the generational trauma dressed up as discipline. I stayed silent. Because the truth doesn't need defending. It stands tall when you finally stand beside it. Instead, I focused forward. I enrolled my daughter in a small private school where kindness mattered as much as grades. We traveled, something I'd always postponed while saving everyone else from the messes they made. Now we collect joy the way I once collected excuses to stay quiet. I started something small but fierce. Rise Before Rain, a quiet foundation for kids like mine, kids dismissed and devalued by the people meant to protect them. And this time we rise before the storm comes. Every time. Every dollar we raised through Rise Before Rain went straight to what really mattered. Therapy sessions for kids who'd been told to toughen up, mentorship programs, art supplies, safe after-school spaces where no one had to earn a hug or hold back tears. No press releases, no gala dinners, just quiet, steady repair. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't shouting your pain. It's quietly building what you once needed and handing it to the next child who does too. Even now, every few weeks, I still get a stray text or email from some distant cousin or an old family friend. Come home, Maya. They miss you. Let the past be the past. But I know what they mean by home. They mean the house I kept alive for them until I didn't. When they say miss, they mean they miss the version of me who stayed small and apologetic. And when they say let it go, they mean bury it like they always did. But I am not a shovel anymore. I am a mirror. And I won't shatter just because the truth makes them flinch. Spring came, and with it, blooms in the garden and inside our walls too. My daughter's drawings changed in ways that made me want to cry. Soft meadows, bright doors, blue skies with our names hidden in the clouds. No more stick figures with downcast faces tucked in corners. Now she painted homes where everyone had a seat and no one sat alone. One afternoon, while unpacking an old box we'd left in storage, she pulled out a dusty frame. It was a photo from years ago, her standing beside my mother, shoulders tight, smile forced, eyes begging for someone to see her. She looked at it, then at me and asked, "Mom, can I throw this away now?" I didn't say a word, I just nodded. She dropped it in the trash without a second glance. And in that quiet toss I knew. The cycle hadn't just cracked. It had ended. Not with a scream, but with a little girl choosing herself, piece by piece. As for my parents, word is they couldn't afford that apartment much longer and moved in with Clara. How poetic. The golden girl left holding their last excuses. But gold flakes fast when you scrape too deep, and they'd mined her dry long before they ever thanked me. I haven't spoken to them in almost a year now. Not because I hate them, but because I love my daughter far more than I'll ever crave approval from people devoted to misunderstanding me. Here's the truth. I didn't ruin their life. I just stopped paying for the illusion they called family. They built a palace of hierarchy and secrets. I called it what it was. Emotional debt. And I cleared that debt the day I stepped into that kitchen and found my baby girl being taught she was nothing. Now she knows better. Now I do too. Sometimes on the way home from school or errands, we still pass by that old neighborhood. My daughter always reaches for my hand, squeezes it tight, and asks in her sweet, careful voice, "Mom, will we ever go back?" And every time I answer her the same way. Steady, soft, certain. No, sweetheart. We didn't just leave that place. We came back to ourselves. And that's all we'll ever need. Because the truest victory isn't a house stripped from people who misused it. It's a child who doesn't shrink when someone raises their voice. It's a mother who doesn't flinch when old ghosts rattle the door. And it's this simple garden, this soft kitchen light, this warm laughter at our table, a home where love never has to be earned, only returned. Because I didn't just burn their blueprint. I built us a new one, room by room, trust by trust. And every single day my daughter and I live inside it. Together. From Maya's story, I've learned that real family isn't defined by blood or old walls but by how safe and seen you feel behind a closed door. Her courage shows us that sometimes love means burning down everything that wounds you and planting something gentler in its place. In life, too many people carry the burden of old loyalties that suffocate their children's spirits just to keep the peace. Maya reminds us that peace built on fear is not peace at all. True healing begins the moment we say enough and choose to protect the quiet hearts we love, no matter who we disappoint. Because at the end of the day, freedom is knowing no child should ever have to earn a place where they belong. What do you think about Maya's choice and the strength she showed for her daughter? Would you have done the same? Share your thoughts below and let's talk about it together. Don't forget to follow this channel for more real and touching family stories coming your way soon.